The recent tragedy in the English Channel has once again brought the migrant crisis into sharp focus. 12 lives were lost, including 6 children and a pregnant woman, as they attempted the perilous journey across the water. In Boulogne, France, rescue workers packed up their gear with well-practiced efficiency. Medical tents, stretchers and security cordons all dismantled as the last bodies were taken away. Boulogne's mayor, Frédéric Cuvillier, lamented the transformation of France's northern coastline into a stage for such repeated tragedies. "These people flee death and end up dying here," said Cuvillier, gesturing towards the grey sea. "The desperation is palpable, mothers and children convinced they'll find a better life across the Channel." But here's where perspectives diverge. In the UK, the narrative centres on smuggling gangs, criminals exploiting vulnerable people for profit. Each death is seen as a result of their cynical activities, and it's true, smugglers cram too many people into flimsy boats with insufficient life jackets. In northern France, however, the focus shifts. The police patrol increasingly militarised coastlines, funded in part by British taxpayers. With more manpower, night vision equipment and special drones, they try to stem the tide of migrants. But the smugglers adapt. They launch boats from inland canals or far down the coast, making longer and riskier journeys inevitable. And the boats? They're more crowded and less seaworthy. Sometimes 90 people packed into vessels designed for 40. The authorities' success in disrupting boat supplies only pushes smugglers to take greater risks. Violence, too, is on the rise. Stones hurled at police and sometimes knives brandished. The stakes are high and the methods increasingly desperate. French officials and citizens often blame the UK's job market, a perceived magnet for migrants. They argue that Britain's less stringent labour regulations attract those seeking opportunities, even without documentation. French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin has called for a new migrant treaty between Britain and the EU, emphasising that tackling smugglers alone won't suffice. The media coverage reflects this divide. In the UK, the crisis garners significant attention. In France, where internal political and social issues dominate the news, the migrant crisis receives relatively less focus. This disparity underscores the French perspective that the crisis is primarily Britain's problem. The recent tragedy in the Channel is a stark reminder of the human cost of this ongoing crisis. While both nations acknowledge the role of smuggling gangs, France emphasises the UK's role in attracting migrants. Greater cooperation and understanding between the two countries are essential to finding a lasting solution. Until then, the tragic scenes in the Channel are likely to continue.